This tutorial will cover grouping and subset analysis. So first drop an Excel icon onto the workflow, and then a grouping icon, and then a subset icon. And let's say we want to, with regard to grouping, let's say we want to group summary statistics, and then we want to perform linear regression for subsetting, that is selecting records. So let's go to the summarize. We need a feature selection icon, and then an analysis icon for summarize. And then for subsetting, if we're going to perform a regression, we want to go to independence, and then dependency rather. And then for linear regression, let's drop a feature selection icon here, and then linear regression icon for the analysis out here. So the orange icons are the only two icons used for grouping and subsetting. Of course, all of the yellow icons are used for feature selection. And then within one of these tabs, you always have the feature selection icon that's required before any of the analysis icons. So analysis icons are in green, and then on any one of these tabs, you always need to select a yellow feature selection icon before, which precedes any one of the analysis icons. So again, we have a feature selection icon, which is appropriate or relevant to summarization, and then a linear regression icon here, XY select, which is not, now it's multiple linear regression. If you wanted to perform multivariate normal regression with multiple Y variables, you would select this icon here, and then this MVN reg green analysis icon. So let's connect the icons then, and then we'll import the data once these are all connected. So just right click on these icons to connect them. Now let's import the data. We'll use the retinal data set again. And we need to, if we're going to summarize, let's say we want to do grouped analysis by selecting the smoking status variable, which has 3 levels. You can also group by you can select the other variables too for grouping, so it would use all possible combinations of the other variables selected. But we'll do a grouped analysis for each of the 3 levels of this categorical variable called smoking status. And then if we wanted to use subsetting, which selects specific records, or filtering, which is not grouping. Grouping partitions a data set. Subsetting or filtering draws specific records used for an analysis. And let's say we know there's an age variable, so let's say that we wanted to run a filtered analysis for subjects for which age is greater than 50. So then we'll click on apply. Now that's set, and then we need to select the features here. And this is a linear regression, so we need to select one continuous outcome variable. So let's select plasma retinol concentrations for the continuous outcome variable. And then for the predictors, let's use age, catalytic index, calories, fat, fiber, and cholesterol. And of course, we said again, this is only going to be for subjects whose age was greater than 50, I believe it was. Yeah, age greater than 50. Okay, so now we can, we didn't select variables for the grouped analysis. We're just going to summarize here. So let's summarize everything. And then this analysis will be done with the 3 groups used for smoking status here. And then this filtering analysis will be used on records for which subject's age was greater than 50. And let's just click on Run. So we have summary statistics performed for the 3 groups. And if you click on these, you can see different sample sizes. So this is group 1, smoking status equals 1. The sample size is 156, and then all the summary statistics. For group 2, the summary statistics is 115. Smoking status equals 2, filtered on group 2. And then for group 3, there's 43 subjects with a smoking status of 3. So you have the summary statistics for each one of the groups separately. And then we have a linear regression run for subjects whose age, using records for which subjects' age is greater than 50. And we can see that there were 132 of them. And then you have your univariate regression run first. The dependent variable was plasma concentration of retinol. And then the univariate regressions run on the 6 predictors. And then significant predictors. We specified that we only wanted to report a multiple linear regression table when coefficients were for the 3. So the three were entered here. And then let's look at our settings for regression here. So for model building strategies, only variables with a p-value less than 0.25 were entered. And those are the 2 here. And then calories and fat was entered. So calories and fat had a p-value less than 0.25. The red or the pink variables were not used. And then here are the 2 variables that are added. And then their p-values. They weren't significant predictors. So that's how one can perform a grouped analysis for which you'd specify the grouping variable in this icon here. So depending on what you want to use. And then subsetting or filtering, you would select, here we have a filter, an if statement to use subjects. Now if we wanted to extend this, we'd use the C++ and let's say sex equals 2. So then we could leave that, run this, and let's make sure sex is not, sex was not one of the variables that we're looking at. And then if we run this, you can see in the coefficients. So here's our if statement. It was a regression. The univariates performed first on records for which age was greater than 50 and sex was equal to 2. Sample size is 101, so it's smaller than the previous run of just subjects for which age was greater than 50. And then you have your same thing here. So only fat had a p-value, a univariate p-value less than 0.25, so it was the only variable that was added to the multivariable model, but it wasn't significant after the run. So there you are. You now have a workflow set up for data import, grouping, and filtering or data subsetting, and then the appropriate feature selection and the analysis icons. And you can, downstream, you can perform any analysis that you want for grouped and any analysis that you want for subsetting. So this could be any one of the regressions. It could be logistic regression, Cox proportional hazards regression, multivariate normal regression. We ran linear regression here. You could have correlation analysis here. You could have unsupervised analysis and then supervised analysis as well if you wanted for each one of the groups or the records that were filtered here.